For the first time since the beginning of the economic sanctions, 2 Russian airlines have asked the Ministry of Transport for permission to return some aircraft to foreign lessors. The applications were submitted in April and May, but the ministry has yet to respond at the time of producing this video. One of the Russian airlines wishing to return 2 Boeing 737 MAX aircraft was S7. Its 2 aircraft are currently not certified, and any operation of the aircraft type was banned due to the 2 fatal accidents in Ethiopia and Indonesia. Recertification for the aircraft was never carried out, making the 2 Boeing 737 MAXs entirely redundant in the fleet of S7. While the possibility of recertification was already thin, the sanctions in light of the Russia-Ukraine conflict made the prospect even thinner. On the topic, S7 said, "It is true we requested an application for the return of 2 Boeing 737-8 MAX to the lessor due to the lack of a type certification in the Russian Federation and accordingly the impossibility of its operation. The request to return 2 737s seems modest compared to the second Russian airline, the Volga-Dnieper Group-owned Airbridge Cargo or ABC. In stark contrast to S7, the cargo carrier wants to return 14 out of 16 Boeing 747 freighters, all of which are currently stored at Moscow Sheremetyevo Airport. One of the remaining 2 freighters has been in Emirate of Sharjah since February, while the other sits at Marana Airport in Arizona. Due to the sanctions, the Volga-Dnieper Group has had to suspend operations of ABC temporarily, which would explain the intent to return its freighters. The group expects to return the freighters to lessors and transfer them to Etihad Cargo under the lessor Dubai Aerospace Enterprise. Alongside the Gulf carrier, the group hopes to circumvent the Western restrictions and be able to operate the freighters for continued operations jointly. Etihad Cargo currently operates Boeing 777 freighters, and a deal to take on ABC's fleet could be advantageous in terms of additional capacity. The new Etihad unit would effectively be the same as ABC, with sales primarily conducted by a new entity. Revenue sharing is expected if the deal proceeds as legally possible. Alexei Isaikin, chairman of the board of directors of the Volga-Dnieper ABC, said, "The success of the enterprise will depend on whether the lawyers of both sides find a way to operate the aircraft, taking into account the US sanctions imposed on them and British sanctions against them." The decision on Airbridge Cargo has been preliminarily agreed at the government level and could be made in August or September. There is no real purpose for the aircraft to remain inside Russia, where the MAX will probably never gain authorization and will never see active service. On the other hand, the Boeing 747 freighters can be utilized but are at serious risk of not being well maintained due to the absence of parts or technical support. The requests were made a few months ago, and while proposals usually go through several minister cabinets for proper review, the prolonged lack of response from the ministry is still surprising. What do you think of this news? Will the returns be allowed to happen? Let us know by leaving a comment. In addition to our daily YouTube videos, Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles every week. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com.